watching Juan Gotti Talking Sports.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with yet another Washington football team video, and in today's video I'm coming on here to talk about trade options that we have for Brandon Scherff, which teams that we should trade him to in the scenarios and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, in this case our Washington football team. Let's get straight into today's video. So to be exact about today's video, I have 3 teams and 3 trade scenarios that I think would benefit Washington in the long run if we do decide to trade Brandon Scherff. Now, if you guys don't know and you've been under a rock lately, it came out that Brandon Scherff turned down a record-setting deal that would have made him the highest paid guard in the NFL multiple times. And people say it's clear that he doesn't want to be here. And if true, like I said, it still hasn't came out confirmed that it's true, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's by a beat reporter by the name of John Kime. The news first broke, so it does hold some weight. So if it is in fact true, he doesn't want to be here, you might as well ship him. Now, I see it as pros and cons to Brandon Scherff, because as much as I want him here, the pro is, yeah, he's an all-pro, and we can use that as leverage in the trade department when we want to trade for him. But the con is, now that he is an all-pro, he's gonna want more money, and that's really the big reason why he, probably wants 23 million. He's like, if I'm injured and I still got the all-pro award, just imagine what I can do when I can play all 17 games. But on the flip side, us Washington, we're like, what can you do if you play all 17 games? Because you're yet to play that throughout your whole career. He's been in the league for quite a bit of time now, and he's yet to play a full game season or full 16-17 games. So it's pros and cons to each side. I see why Brandon Scherff wants the money that he wants, but I also see why Washington isn't giving him the money that he wants, probably 23 mil. Although we are offering him contracts that still would make him the highest paid guard in the NFL, he just isn't satisfied. So I'm thinking he wants 20 to 23 million dollars, and that's just absurd as a guard. So like I said, I put together a couple trade packages that involves a couple teams, obviously, and I think it would benefit Washington in the long run. So team number 1 on my list is the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of Washington fans is eager to move up in the draft because a lot of you guys want the quarterback of the future this year, and I put together a trade package that could possibly move us up to get number 4. So I packaged up the first round 19th overall pick and Brandon Scherff to the Atlanta Falcons in exchange for their 4th overall pick. And if that is not enough for Atlanta to be like, okay, I'll take it, I also would offer them the 2nd round 51st pick. So that's 19 Brandon Scherff and the 51st overall pick in exchange for number 4. And honestly, I feel like that's fair compensation, 19 and Brandon Scherff for 4. But if they still don't want to move off of that, I would then throw in the 2nd round 51st pick, because then they have to accept that, because I feel like personally that is more than enough to get to number 4. You're getting an all-pro guard, you're getting a 19th overall pick, and you're getting a 2nd round 51st pick. I feel like that's more than enough for Atlanta. The guard is going to protect Matt Ryan and whoever the quarterback they may draft this year or next year. So honestly, I feel like that's a good trade for Atlanta. And it's been talks that Atlanta is looking to move out of 4, and he's been talking to teams about moving back. So maybe we're one of those teams, who knows? But I feel like honestly, if you go with either one of those, Brandon Scherff and the 19th overall pick for the 4th overall pick from Atlanta, and if that's not enough and they still want a little bit more, I would then throw in Brandon Scherff, the 19th overall pick, and the 51st overall pick, which is the 2nd round for us. And I feel like that's more than enough. In recent history, yes, it was under the last regime, but we really historically hasn't done well in the 2nd round for the past couple years. So I would not be mad if we did give up that, especially to move up 4. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of drafting our star quarterback this year, but if we get to number 4, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to draft Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. More than enough to convince me to move up. My biggest thing was I wasn't trying to demoralize the future for future drafts. I'm talking 2022, 2023, 2024, stuff like that. But if it's all could be happening in this one draft, I would totally be all for moving up. The next team I have on my list, just in case Atlanta does not want to move off that or that offer doesn't interest them, I have the Cincinnati Bengals, I said I want their second round 39th pick, their third round 69th pick, and their fourth round 109th pick in exchange for Brandon Scherff. I feel like they're not going to want to move off that 5th overall pick, and honestly, if they get Panasa Will out of Oregon and Brandon Scherff, that offensive line could be deadly for Joe Burrow, and he would have ample time in the pocket, and I feel like that's more than enough. If we cannot get a first round pick for Brandon Scherff, I feel like 3 good value picks would be more than enough for Brandon Scherff. Once again, he's 29, which isn't old, but he's going to want a new contract. I have to take that into consideration when talking about trading him. So if we don't get a first round pick for him, this is more than enough in my opinion. You're getting a high second round pick on top of the second round pick that you already have. Then you're getting another third round pick on top of the 2 third round picks that you already have. And then you're getting another 4th round pick on top of the one that you already have. As much as I would love the 4th overall pick, if we can't get the 4th overall pick from Atlanta, this is the one that I would shoot for if I'm Washington, because Cincinnati needs offensive line help badly, and these 3 picks would be so good for Washington. The next thing I have on my list that I think should be interested in trading for Brandon Scherff, and we should be interested in talking to them, is the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they just lost 2 important linemen, and they did go out and sign Joe Thuney, but they still need to continue to upgrade that offensive line if they want to have chances at the Super Bowl, have chances to actually compete in the Super Bowl, and have a chance to protect their $500 million quarterback. I think they did a good job at going out and getting Joe Thuney, but if you want to continue to upgrade that offensive line, like I said, they should be interested in trading for Brandon Scherff. So the trade package that I put together for the Kansas City Chiefs was the 31st overall pick, round 1 for Brandon Scherff straight up, or the Chiefs' second round pick 63 and the Chiefs' third round pick 94 for Brandon Scherff. I feel like the 31st overall pick for Brandon Scherff is a straight up fair compensation. You can't expect to get that much if you're already asking for a first round pick out of a team, and I know it's kind of on the back end of the second round, but if you're asking for a first round pick out of a team, you can't ask for much more, because Brandon Scherff is 29 years old, like I said, which is not old at all, but he's going to be asking for record breaking money, and he wants to be paid like the highest paid guard in the NFL. So when trading him, you got to take that into consideration if you're Washington, so you cannot ask for that much. That's the reason why I feel like if we just take the 31st overall pick for Brandon Scherff, I feel like that's great compensation. But before we offer just the 31st and Brandon Scherff straight up, I would try to push the buttons and go 31st and the third round pick, which is 94 to be exact. If they're not trying to do that, like, nah, we're good, then I would just do the 31st overall pick for Brandon Scherff straight up. So what I forgot to mention was that, yes, I would love the Atlanta Falcons trade or the Cincinnati Bengals trade, but truly deep down inside, what I feel like is going to happen is what happened last year, is when we know good and well we deserve way more compensation than we did for Trent Williams. I feel like that's going to be the same thing that happens with Brandon Scherff. I feel like we're going to wait until draft night to trade him, and then we're going to get robbed of compensation. So that's unfortunate, but that's what I truly feel like is going to happen. But if Ron Rivera is truly looking to get fair compensation for Washington and Brandon Scherff send him somewhere where he can go thrive, I think Cincinnati is the perfect option if Atlanta isn't willing to give up that 4th overall pick. So yeah, man, just a quick little video. I think these are 3 realistic trade options that could happen for Washington and the said team in this video. I feel like it's great compensation for each side, especially for Washington. If I'm Washington, I would look to do that Atlanta trade because they're looking to move back. But if they don't want no parts, I would definitely do that Cincinnati Bengals trade. Out of each 3 of these teams that I did do a trade scenario for involving Washington, for all 3 obviously, which one do you guys think is the best one for us? Like I told you, I feel like it's the Cincinnati Bengals if Atlanta isn't moving off number 4. So let me know what you guys think about this video down below. What trade scenarios do you have for Brandon Scherff and the Washington football team? So let me know what you guys think about this video down below. Like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 3K. It's me, your boy Juan Gotti. I'm out. Peace. Cross me one time, that's gonna get you pop. Get you pop, get you drop, slide on the one where they get you boxed on.